It is storming outside and the sirens just started going off. And I just got a thing on my phone that is like tornado, but we don't have a basement. I don't know what to do. I was loving the fact that it was storming and now I'm like, ooh. Can you hear the sirens? I better go. Hi. So we've had a bit of a change of scenery because I'm sitting in my bathroom because that is what my husband told me to do. So we shall see. I'm undeterred. I'm gonna go ahead and film my February wrap up. I read 6 books, I believe, in February. And so I would just like to share those reads with you guys. So the first book I read in February was Being Mortal. This is by Dr. Atul Gawande. The full title is Being Mortal, Medicine and What Matters in the End. And I actually listened to this on audiobook. I loved the narrator, so I definitely suggest you to check the audiobook out if you're interested in reading this. And I've noticed that I really listen to nonfiction well, and so I really enjoyed listening to this. And this is Dr. Gwande's kind of experience with death. He's a doctor, he deals with death a lot, but kind of his how he thinks that we have over medicalized the process of death and dying. It was absolutely enthralling. Favorite book that I read of 2017 so far, and I'm going to do a full review on this after I finish reading Leo Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich. I do plan on picking that up tomorrow or tonight if I finish the book that I'm reading. So yes, I loved this. I will do a full review of it soon because I have lots of thoughts on it, but great nonfiction listen. The book I read in February was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. It was a graphic novel. I think it's more aimed towards a middle grade audience. I gave this one 2.5 stars. It was okay. The artwork was really fun. This story follows Nimona, who is kind of like an anti-hero, if you will. She's got superpowers and she wants to use them for bad, not for good. And so she teams up with, I think, Blackheart is the other villain's name, and she wants to help him out. The artwork was very cool, but I just didn't think the story was, I don't know, well developed maybe. I thought a lot of the storyline relied very heavily on the artwork, and I guess maybe that's the point of a graphic novel, but I just felt like it was a cool and sweet story. I really enjoyed it while I was there, but it wasn't super memorable, and there was so much going on with the artwork that I felt like the story just was kind of like meh and didn't even matter. So yeah, I gave that 2.5 stars. A lot of people really enjoy it. It was quick, it was fun, it just wasn't super memorable, and really it relied too heavily on the artwork to be something that I was going to love. So then the third book that I read in February was Tales of Accidental Genius by Simon Van Buie. I have that one with me. It was a short story collection. I loved the first half of this. I absolutely adored it. I thought, without a doubt, I was going to give it 5 stars, but then I read the last story, which is more like a fable. Do you hear the hail? Oh my goodness. So this is the last story. So this is like the first bits of story, and then this was the last story, the fable. And it just wasn't as good as the other stories. It was a little bit more, I don't know, because it was a fable and it wasn't such a realist story, it was just a little bit more, I think, like tied up with a pretty bow, and the other stories were just really beautiful snapshots into people's lives. The kind of tagline for this is Van Buie explores how genius can be expressed through acts of generosity and redemption, and I really felt like the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 stories embody that, and like I said, the last one, which was half of the book. Just wasn't, it didn't do that for me. I mean, the first stories, I mean, are going to be some of my favorites that I go back to. I loved them. It's just the last story, like I said, it didn't live up. So I was a little disappointed. I still gave it 4 stars because I so loved the beginning stories. So one of my favorite stories was called The Goldfish, and this is about an old man who has a goldfish, and it's really the only thing he has to kind of take care of in his life. He's just getting to the point in his life where a lot of the people he loves and the things that he cares for are just, they don't need him anymore. And so this is kind of a line talking about that. The old man glanced at the cabinet of ceramic figures, then at the photographs on his mantelpiece, at faces once capable of moving and making sounds. They were people who had known him the way he remembered himself. The woman in the largest picture had been his wife. Sometimes it felt like she was just out shopping or on the other side of a door about to come in. I thought that was beautiful. And then this line was from a story called The Muse, which was about a woman who is a fashion designer, and she had kind of gone on this like vacation to kind of get some inspiration for her designs. And so this is at the very beginning of the story, and it says, Alexandra used to watch the bus drivers through her classroom window, laughing and chattering and moving their feet to keep warm. The children we once were, she thought, live inside us like rings on a tree. I thought that was lovely. So I do think this is worth picking it up just for the first half of the stories that are so wonderful. Yeah, I loved it, and I think if you want a quiet, really poignant and moving set of short stories, you should pick up Simon Van Buie's work. The fourth thing that I read was Silver Sparrow. I also listened to this on audiobook, so I will insert a little picture here. This is an Own Voices story set in Atlanta, Georgia. I've talked a little bit about this story in some other videos, so I won't go too much into it, but it follows 2 families. The first line is, my father, James Witherspoon, was a bigamist, and so it follows this man's 2 different families, and we have a family that's like his real family, his family that everyone knows about. He's his first wife and his daughter named Charisse, and she does not know about the other family, which follows Dana and her mother. This just a beautiful story about what it means to be accepted and to belong, and also kind of you're questioning the whole time who is right, who is wrong. You're just, I mean, it totally upends what you would have any thoughts about a situation like this. Just, I thought that Jones did a wonderful job of really just, oh man, she lays it all out on the line. Like, you know what's going to happen, but she just keeps you enthralled on the edge of your seat. She creates such real tension and drama, and I think if you would like family sagas or family dramas, you would really like this story. But it was really unique. I thought she kind of had unique twists on it, and I loved her voice. I loved the audiobook. The narrators did wonderful, and I absolutely recommend this. My jump the gun star rating was 5 stars. I don't know if it's quite there, but I did love this story. So I definitely think if you're interested in family drama, you should pick this story up. And the thing I most recently finished was Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. This was my first Richard Yates, and I absolutely loved this story. This follows April and Frank Wheeler, kind of in the 1950s, suburban life. It's their expectations on life and what they're getting just not meeting up. I thought this story was absolutely so poignant. Yates has a wonderful writing style. He really just gets right to the heart of it, and so many things you're saying yes, like right along with him. But they're hard things. They're not pleasant things that you're like, yes, Mr. Yates, you were so getting it. But man, can he write. I absolutely loved his voice. I loved how he personified these characters. I love how he seamlessly like bounces between characters, and kind of you're hearing from April, you're hearing from Frank, you're hearing from the neighbor, and he just weaves it together so wonderfully. I thought like expectations of yourself versus others. I'm just kind of exploring that and what makes us feel good about ourselves and others, and kind of being dissatisfied with your life but being able to compare, and just kind of that keeping up with the Jones thing that was so prevalent and starting in this time period. And really he just captures that so well, and the issues with that, kind of the issues with the American dream, and then people's issues with the issues of the American dream. I don't know, like Yeats just, he does so many good things. That was a jumbled mess of words, and I think when I think a little bit more about this story and really get my thoughts together, I might do a review on this as well, because there's just so much goodness in this, and so much stuff to really think about. I absolutely love this story. I love Yeats' writing, and I would definitely recommend anyone who is interested in getting into modern classics to pick this up, because his writing style is just, it's so deep and poignant, but also just intriguing. You want to keep reading. Also, something that I didn't talk about that I did want to, I absolutely loved the, so Yeats starts this story off with this group of people in this Revolutionary Road area who have come together and formed this theater troupe, this community theater troupe. And so he starts out the story talking about these actors in this play, and kind of the way he keeps that, like weaves that in, like it seemingly has nothing to do with this story, but the way he weaves in kind of acting, the portrayal of self, how we are actors really in life, I just thought was brilliant. So I had to throw that in because I absolutely loved, and I think that was my favorite part about this story, and I gave it a very solid 4 stars. And the last book, which is the book I am going to finish tonight, is The Hostile Hospital by Lemony Snicket. This is the 8th book. I love this series. I think I've mentioned Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events in just about every video that I have made thus far, but I love him. I love this series. I'm so thoroughly enjoying it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this one up tonight. So I would love to know what you read in February, or maybe what your favorite book was. I think my favorite, oh, absolutely, was Being Mortal by Dr. Gwande. I loved that, and I want everyone to read it so we can talk about it. So yeah, so what was your favorite book that you read in February? Please let me know, and I hope to talk to you guys very soon, and hopefully not in my bathroom next time. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to y'all later. Bye.